No. No.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Orlando Blau Jr., but you may call me Lando. And over the weekend, I just saw the movie that they call Logan, starring Hugh Jackman as Logan, duh, Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier, and Daphne Keane as Laura, as we all know is going to be X-23. The movie was directed by James Mangold, who you might know for directing the movie The Wolverine as well. He also directed a couple other films like Girl Interrupted and Night and Day, the film that almost ended the careers of Cameron Diaz and Tom Cruise. Well, can't win them all. Before I begin, I'm going to give you my thoughts about this film, and before I do so, I want to let you guys know that this will have spoilers in the film, so don't say I didn't tell you. I don't want you guys saying, oh man, you didn't tell me there were spoilers in this movie. I hate you. The movie's getting a lot of great praise and applause. What can you expect? It's getting a lot of really good reviews. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 95%. IMDb gave it an 8.8. One of my friends gave it a 9 out of 10. But what are my personal thoughts about this film? What did I think of it? Well, why don't we start from the beginning, shall we? So the plot of this movie takes place in the year 2029 in the future, and Logan has become pretty much old and frail. Well, I wouldn't say old, but he definitely is getting weary. He's laying and hiding in Mexico, near the Mexican border, along with Charles Xavier. He has him in hiding in like a tank or something along those lines. And apparently, I guess they're going to be trying to run away. You know, trying to get away from everything. They're just going to get by a boat and they want to get the heck out of here. But as fate would have it, there's a girl who comes in and they must protect her. Now Logan originally is like, no, I'm not going to do that, until he starts realizing that she not only is a mutant, but she also has powers similar to him. So now he's going to take her to safety and try to get her to North Dakota, where apparently she's destined to go to, before a company that made her get to her first. As far as the genre is concerned, this movie is definitely not an action-adventure, similar to the ones with X-Men where they're like, okay, we're gonna fight the bad guy and defeat them and save the day. Dun, 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 dun. No, no. In fact, this is definitely not like that. X-Men movies are more of an action-adventure. Logan was like an action drama, where instead of saying, I'm gonna fight the bad guys and save the day, it's more like, I'm gonna fight the bad guys to survive. That's a different approach to what we normally were accustomed to the other X-Men movies previous to it. And this is definitely not an X-Men movie. They pointed out several times. In fact, they bring comics into the movie. It's like bringing the fourth wall. Bringing the fourth wall into this movie and telling everyone, hey, listen, not us. We are not like that. This is not what this movie's about. Logan, or Wolverine as we've all called him, yeah, he's not looking too good. He is definitely looking bad. But if you think about it in retrospect, Hugh Jackman has been Wolverine for about 17 years. 17 years. Since 2000, when the first X-Men movie came out. He has been Wolverine since. That's a lot of Wolverine. That's a lot of Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine. And he did a great job. We loved him. Obviously, if he wasn't so good, we would not have accepted him in the first film. But we accepted him for 17 years. And this was his final film as Logan. We have Charles Xavier, who was a strong leader. We all knew him as a strong, powerful man. A man who would lead the charge and guide people. And now he is vulnerable. He's old. He's not the man he used to be. Professor Xavier was a strong character in the previous movies. He led people to make them stronger, and you know, he helped out a lot. Unfortunately, he was not the strong character that he once was. He's more vulnerable. And you can definitely tell that he's ashamed of who he is. Or rather ashamed of what he had done. But he doesn't really know what it is, but he feels he did something. He definitely feels it, but he doesn't know. Laura, as we all know, will become X-23, or is X-23 rather. She, as a girl, as a kid, she was good. She was a good character overall, and as a child actress, or a child actor, however you wish to call it, she was not in the way of the film. She didn't outshine Logan at all, but she also wasn't outshined herself. It worked out really well as far as I was concerned, and with a child being in a movie, sometimes, a lot of times, it could miss. It could fall apart right in front of you. But instead, it worked well. Some movies don't do that well with it, but this movie did, and good job. Good job on that, seriously. The villains were good. They were good, but... And they were strong, but... I don't think they'll be remembered for years to come. You had Pierce, you had Dr. Rice, and those two guys, they were villains. They were no doubt villains, but were they strong enough to be memorable? No. Not the same as Magneto, not the same as Heath Ledger's Joker. They are not the same strength. They're almost, unfortunately, I feel like they are going to be forgettable, but they weren't horrible either. They were just almost standard. And oddly enough, they did less killings than Logan did in this movie. That's saying something. But I didn't really feel for them as much villainy as I would like them to be. I wanted to really almost hate them in a sense, but I didn't get that with them. X-24, as it was later revealed, was a clone of Wolverine. He was fine, he was cool, but they didn't give him enough screen time, and granted, it's Hugh Jackman playing this role, and that's a lot to it's a lot to go for, you know, playing two different roles, and for him to try to do more, yeah, I guess I could give it a pass, but I really wish I saw more of him than just in 2 scenes. The X-24, that is. I wish there was only, not just 2 scenes, I wish there was more of him. But take what you get. It was fine when he was introduced, I liked it. As soon as they saw him, I was like, ooh, I was taken aback by it. But I wish they gave him more time. Now, the ending to this movie, as we all know, takes place in the fields. They take place and they're about to duke it out. And near that part, it was sort of cliche. I mean, by that I mean you knew that Logan in this movie, you knew that Logan was going to become strong for a moment. You knew he was going to have that moment. As soon as he took that serum and he started running down that way, like, you know, just going down that forest and ready to pounce it out, you kind of saw that coming. You knew that the bad guys were going down, and they went down, no doubt about it. The way Dr. Rice was killed was okay. I know that Pierce's death was really gruesome, and it's like, yeah, but I didn't hate him enough for him to feel, to feel that death, you know? I didn't feel it quite as much. If they had made him more of a dick, oh, then maybe I would have been more sympathetic about, or not sympathetic, but more pulled in to his death scene. I know he did some bad stuff, but not bad enough. That's the way I see it. So his death, though he deserved it, couldn't feel it quite as much. That's just me. And X-24's death, bang, okay, you're dead. Even though despite the fact that it was a bit anticlimactic with the villains and their deaths, Logan's death, of course, was pretty heartbreaking. In fact, it broke my wife's heart. Even the next day, as I'm filming this, she still felt bad about it. He died. He, unfortunately, is gone. And that's it. No more Logan. No more Wolverine. No more Welcome Back to the X-Men. None of it. He's gone. And Laura and the others, they buried him, and they had a cross on there, and I liked how she took the cross and made it look like an X. Tell you, the audience, that he may have died, but don't forget, even though this wasn't an X-Men movie, he was still an X-Men. I didn't feel quite as impressed by all the killing that Logan had done. When Logan and the other kids, when they started going at it against the bad guys, it didn't feel the same way as it did in the beginning of the movie. In the beginning, you were just like, woo! Him going after those carjackers when they were trying to go after his limo, and how he butchered them. That was pretty impressive. But the ending, it just was about the same. There are a few gripes that I would like to mention in this movie. I mean, well, no movie's not without a nitpick. But there were a couple of gripes in this movie. For one, let's talk about Gabriella's documentary. Yeah, it brought us in closer to the movie, and it drew us in to guide us and find out what's going on and why they're doing this. But the documentary was good, but too good. She did some proper editing in a lot of those moments, not just simple clip shots. Just all this editing. And I'm surprised she took the time to actually do this, seeing as how her life was in danger. The other thing that I didn't get was when she had the camera, I'm pretty sure you guys noticed this, she had the camera hidden, supposedly, and there was a door that's closed, and one of the doctors is talking to a female about the situation. Now, you think the door being closed would mean you don't hear what's going on, but you hear it clear as day. Like as if the door didn't need to be closed. How did you do that? How is that possible? I know, maybe it's movie magic, but if you're gonna do movie magic, you need to trick us. And I don't think that was a very good trick. The point was there, but a little too well. I know some of the scenes that were meant to be serious kind of got lost in the laughter from some of the audiences. It made it look kind of cheesy, like when Logan got out of bed at the hideout in North Dakota, and he wakes up and there's Laura watching him. The audience kind of laughed at that, kind of looking at it like it was a cheesy scene. And there was a few of that in the movie. Now, I don't know if it's just the audience that I was at, or maybe it was just the type of directing that it was, but whatever the reason may be, it just seemed a bit cheesy, and I felt like I was trying to take this movie seriously, and I got kind of aggravated at moments when it was supposed to be serious, but everyone's kind of laughing at moments that weren't. That kind of annoyed me. The other thing that I wish they had done was talk more about why Logan and Xavier were running away. And obviously we know that Xavier did something. I think he may have eradicated almost every mutant with his seizure and the medication that he went to, and Logan was trying to protect him from that. I think they should have just done a little bit more with the background and what brought them to staying at the Mexican border, what brought them to that, and that would have been nice. What do I think about this movie overall? Well, that's a good question. This is a very unique movie, and it stands out from all the other X-Men movies, no doubt about it. It even stands out further than the Wolverine. And the Wolverine had a drama story to it, but it definitely had a superhero tale to go with it. This was not a superhero movie, for sure, because they're not trying to save the day. They're trying to save their lives. Big difference. Big, big difference. Is it the same as The Dark Knight, though? Not really. The Dark Knight had its own tale, its own different feel to it. And I don't know if it holds in the same caliber as Logan and vice versa. I think the reason I say that is because I didn't feel pulled in the same way as Dark Knight. Logan didn't pull me in the suspense and put me at the edge of my seat the same as The Dark Knight did. So I don't think it would be the same thing. But maybe they're just saying that it's the Dark Knight of this franchise because it was probably one of its best ones. Logan, it was good and it was strong. And there were some cool moments, but I didn't feel the wow factor. I didn't get the wowness. I wasn't impressed as strongly. And that's some of the things that I felt like with Logan. Though a strong movie, I didn't feel impressed. I didn't feel like a lot of scenes were cool. The beginning was cool, but a lot of it was just, yeah, fine. It was just fine. Although I will admit there was a lot of the F word. You knew this was not this was going to be a rated R movie, and this movie wanted to tell you there's no way this will be a PG-13 film. And just to show it to you, we're going to add the word f***. We're going to say, who the f*** are you? Get the f*** out of my car. Wouldn't it have been really cool to see clips from the old X-Men movies? Because I know, like, whenever in the movies in the past, they used to show clips of all these different moments that made this character memorable before they pass on. And that would have been great to see all these different X-Men movies, X-Men 1, 2, 3, and so on, where we see Logan and where he came from and who he is and where he stands now. That, to me, would have been more gripping. A little bit more. Granted, it was sad, but it would have been even more sad if they showed clips. But what is my overall rating of this movie? I know a lot of people gave it a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And even though I thought the movie was good, I guess my overall thought of this movie, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. I know.
Move this man!
I know, please don't hate me on this. I know I should give it more of a rating, but this is my thoughts. And my thought is that it was a good movie, but it wasn't too impressive for me. It didn't give me the wow factor. It was definitely a passing of the torch film, no doubt about that, from Logan to Laura. But in my personal thoughts, I would give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. I hate to say that, and I know many of you might think otherwise, and you're more than welcome to leave it in the comments. Nevertheless, that's my thoughts on the matter, and I hope you can respect that as much as I respect everyone else's decisions on it. I don't bash anybody for giving it a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. I don't think you're wrong for liking it a 9 out of 10, but that is my personal thoughts about this movie. Sorry if I disappointed you. But I do hope it doesn't disappoint you enough to like this video respectfully. Not everyone's going to give it a thumbs down. I'm taking a risk, whatever. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscription, then subscribe to my channel, leave a subscription. Sure, there you go, here's my channel, not your channel, Orlando, mine. Guys, thank you so much for checking out this video, and I hope to see you guys soon for another video. I hope you enjoyed this video. You guys take care. I'll see you guys soon, and rock on.